Guys, I saw a hilarious reel the other day. It was one of those split screen ones. So the top portion was of a tornado that was starting to form, and on the bottom was a woman talking. And she says, if you ever want to motivate a man to do something, just tell them that you'll have your father do it instead. And the second she says that, the footage of the tornado on the top panel instantly catches on fire, like engulfed in flames. So now it's this massive flaming tornado that's spinning way faster than it was in the beginning. And I thought it really illustrated that point very well. No man wants to hear that from their woman. But why is that? Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Seth. Again, like I say at the beginning of all my videos, I'm not an expert. This is just something that's on my mind. And today what's on my mind is a topic centered around man skills, like I like to call them, and the unique pressure that it is applied to men when it comes to those set of skills. Specifically, the idea that we should just be born knowing all of these man skills. So let me give you some examples and let's talk about it. All right, so let me set the groundwork here. I'll paint a little bit of a picture and give you a scenario. Have you ever been asked to do something specific? I'll say a specific man skill, and you realized you don't know how to do it, and you felt that pit in your stomach. Why do we feel that pit in our stomach? We were not born with like this infinite set of instructions on how to do every single man skill out there. It's not like we popped out of the womb and it was just like tucked in our diaper and we just pull it out and we're like, oh yeah, okay, that's how to build a chicken coop. Let's get going. Now, I've had many instances of this happen over my lifetime, and I'll give you another example. I had an ex-girlfriend one time that was like, we should buy a boat. And I was like, for one thing, I don't really swim that well, so I don't really want a boat. But it made me think, okay, if we buy a boat, I'm going to have to learn how to drive the boat. I'm going to have to learn how to maintain the boat. I'm going to have to learn how to take it on and off the trailer. I'm going to have to learn how to haul a trailer. I'm going to have to learn the proper etiquette at the boat launch to back the boat in and then store the trailer and then drive it around the lake. And then when I'm driving around the lake, there's this whole buoy system and you got to like stay to the left or the right of certain buoys and there's like channels and all this stuff, right? And it made me feel less like a man because I didn't know that stuff already somehow, but I didn't grow up with a boat. We didn't have a boat growing up and I've never owned a boat before. So how the hell would I know instinctively all of that stuff? So it's a little bit of like a double-sided reaction or something. Like I had the reaction, that pit in my stomach, that guilt, that shame that as a man, I don't know how to do these things. And then right away I was like, how would I know how to do these things? Why should I feel bad about this? Yes, I can go out and learn them. That's fine. I'm not saying that part. But it was like, why did I personally already feel like I should just somehow know these things because they're a man thing and I'm a man? Frankly, it's bullshit. So why did I feel this way? I almost want to say, why do we feel this way? But I can't speak for all men. So I'm just going to really try to talk about myself and how I felt in the moment. So why do I feel that sense of pressure, guilt, shame when this happens to me? Well, I think a lot of it is society really drills into men that we are a tool. We are a walking set of skills. We are a problem-solving machine. When there's a problem, we fix it because we either know how to fix it or we fix it after we've learned how to fix it. Well, we're the fixer-uppers, right? We are the problem solvers. And that is somehow tied into masculinity. And there's this false belief that masculinity is an inherent skill. It's not one that you've learned. Like you're just born with masculinity, and masculinity is the ability to fix all problems, to build anything. Anything you can dream of that needs to be fixed or built, masculinity is the answer, and you're either born with it or you're not somehow. It doesn't make any sense. How could we know something that we've never been taught? If our father never showed us, or our father was never around to show us, and I guess we never saw it on TV, or our friends, when we were younger, their dads never showed us, or as we get a little older, our friends in our circle never showed us, then how would we know how to do these things? The answer is we wouldn't and we don't. It has to be learned. There's no shame in not knowing how to do something. The shame comes from the system that somehow makes us believe that we are broken or less of a man if we already don't know something. In a way, it's like we're shamed for even having to learn something. Oh, you don't know how to build a set of stairs? Oh, what? You gotta like learn it? You idiot. So that is the societal pressures that get put on men. But let's talk about another area where the pressure comes from. And that is it comes from women, specifically ones that we're in relationships with. Because if we're not in a relationship with one, they probably really don't care what we know or what we don't know. So let's just talk about wives and girlfriends and the pressure that comes from them to know everything out of the box. So a lot of women assume that men just know how to do these things right from the start. But why do they assume that? I think it's because in their past, like in their history, their dads, their brothers, their ex-boyfriends or ex-husbands did these things and never talked about when they didn't know how to do it and if they had to learn it, right? So to them, these things just got done magically. They asked, hey, we should get chickens. And their dad, their brother, their exes, whatever, just made it happen behind the scenes. And then they're like, okay, cool. So men just must know how to do that because I asked for it and then I got it and I didn't see the learning process and I didn't see the struggle. So therefore, I don't necessarily even think that they recognize that it exists. Again, they think men know how to handle this. They know how to do this. It's just what they do. And I don't think they mean any harm by it. I think that when they ask us to do something and we admit to them that we don't know how to do it, they act surprised. And I think they are genuinely surprised. However, that makes us feel small and it makes us feel like shit. Because again, when they're surprised, it does make us feel like, oh, I guess I should have already known how to do that. And again, I think this set of pressures is uniquely male. I think it is a man problem. I don't think women have to deal with it at least the same way, right? Like, take for example, when you have a group of females and oftentimes they're talking to each other, and when you hear them talk about their significant other, it is a little bit of a competition. You know, how handy their man is somehow ranks them in their social ladder. So you hear one, oh, my husband, he just got done fixing the roof, and next week he's building us a patio, and then he's going to change the tire on my vehicle. And then the next one's like, oh, that's great. Mine, he just built a boat from scratch. You know, he chopped the lumber down out back and he bent the logs the way they need to be. And it's like, holy shit. Like, all right, well, I don't want my woman to feel embarrassed in that conversation and be like, oh, Seth doesn't really know how to do anything. So we had to pay somebody to build the roof or fix the roof. And then all the other girls be like, oh, like that's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling for her, and it's not a good feeling for me. And I think as a man, we never want to do anything that makes our female feel like ashamed of us or embarrassed or less than when compared to their female friends. So it becomes like this quiet social competition in the female friend groups, which sucks because we're not even usually there to be part of this conversation so that we can be like, whoa, hey, you asked me to do some crazy thing that like usually a professional goes to school to learn how to do. So give me a break if I gotta YouTube it, okay? But listen, all that said, learning something isn't a weakness. Having to admit that you don't know something and that you're gonna have to look it up and figure it out should not be a weakness, and it should not be a sign of inadequacy. And in fact, I think being able to learn something is a skill. I don't think it's a man's skill. I think it's just a skill. And I think it should be celebrated. Like if the conversation in that female friend group went something like, so say this is my girlfriend and she's talking to her friends and she's like, hey, yeah, I asked Seth to do this thing and he didn't know how to do it. And so he went out and learned how to do it and then did it for me. That should be like a bonus, like a +1, cherry on top. he didn't know how to do it, and he cared so much, he learned how to do it and then did it for me. I don't know why we're so ashamed of that part. I don't know why I'm so ashamed of that part. My dad wasn't around to teach me every man's skill, and I guarantee you he didn't know every man's skill anyways. So at some point, he would have had to sit down to learn something to show me so that I could learn something from him. But there's a problem. There's less and less fathers in the home to show their sons these things along the way. So then we have these boys that turn into men, and they lack a lot of skills that were passed down, right, through generations. Grandfather teaches the father teaches the son, and it repeats. That chain is broken in most cases. So therefore, there's all these men out there that don't have as much knowledge in that type of stuff as we used to. And so we need to normalize that it's okay to go out and learn on your own and find this information yourself and learn new skills yourself. It's okay that you didn't come out of the box knowing all these things already. So I encourage you, as a man, if somebody asks you to do something that you consider a man's skill and you don't know how to do it, don't beat yourself up over it. Go learn how to do it, because I think every man should be capable and every man should know as many skills as possible. I'm on board with that. What I'm not on board with is feeling crappy about not knowing it already. Learning's fun. Don't be ashamed of it. All right, so comment below, because I really want to know, what man skill did you have to learn later in life that you were ashamed of not already knowing, or maybe somebody made you feel guilty that you didn't already know how to do it? I would love to hear it. Again, my example was the boat thing in the beginning of the video. However, I will say, since I don't really like to swim, I'm probably never going to buy a boat, so I really don't need those skills, in my defense. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. Again, if you did, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out immensely. And I also think you should check out these videos right over here, because I'm sure one of them is right up your alley. So thank you very much. Appreciate you.